Yahoo Sports Radio and YahooSportsRadio.com. Without Leigh Steinberg, we never know this famous movie line. Welcome to Behind Closed Doors with the super agent Leigh Steinberg, the one and only.
A man that knows everything that goes on behind those closed doors.
You think we're fighting, and I think we're finally talking.
And he's now on Yahoo Sports Radio and YahooSportsRadio.com every Monday night
from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern.
This is Behind Closed Doors with Leigh Steinberg. Right now, here he is from the Quicken Loan Studios of Yahoo Sports Radio in Southern California, the super agent Leigh Steinberg.
Good evening to all of you listening across the country. This is Leigh Steinberg. You're listening to Yahoo Sports Radio, and this is Behind Closed Doors. The sun is high in the sky in Newport Beach over the bay, and another lovely day, and it was a killer weekend. All sorts of interesting sports stories. We've got a hot show for you tonight, so stay tuned. Our first guest will be Thomas Williams, who played football at USC and has now gone on to create a mentorship program for younger players who are focused towards second career. And then we have Mike Farrell from Rivals.com. Mike scouts high school players to college, which has now become a big business. Then we have Rhett Bollinger, and Rhett is all things Minnesota Twins. They've 7-3 in their last games. They're now in second place. They've made a meteoric rise in the last from baseball. Arash McCarthy will follow him, and Arash will talk to us about basketball and the strange deal that went down for that wonderful center that we all love, DeAndre Jordan. If you did a movie on it, no one would believe it, how it all transpired. And Clarence Hill will be our last guest, and he's going to talk to us about Dallas. And as you know, things have heated up down there. Greg Hardy just got his suspension for next year with very dramatic domestic violence reduced from 10 games to 4 games. I've got opinions about that. Des Bryant is in the middle of a negotiation maelstrom, and he's now claiming that collusion is going on between Denver and Dallas to keep 2 wide receivers below a single number. Is this true? We'll explore that, and we'll talk to Thomas when we come back. This is Leigh Steinberg. You're listening to Yahoo Sports Radio, and this is Behind Closed Doors.
You want all your favorite Yahoo Sports Radio shows on demand? Real simple. Go to ysrpodcast.com. ysrpodcast.com.
Are you suffering with hearing loss? Are you sick of people constantly complaining that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to speak up? Would you like to hear more clearly, but you don't want to wear a hearing aid that makes you look old? Then you need to try Listen Clear, a life-changing breakthrough precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And right now you can try Listen Clear absolutely risk-free with free shipping. We'll even give you free batteries for life. So call now, 1-800-718-8975. Listen Clear is lightweight and completely hassle-free, and it's practically invisible. Call for your 100% risk-free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-718-8975. That's 1-800-718-8975. 1-800-718-8975.
Waking up with the same.
The bartender in overalls and no shirt.
And he was
that guy. That bartender?
Yeah, Duff Man.
I bet there's a punch nearly every night at this bar. He's like, whatever.
He was like dancing in the background. Like, hey, you need a drink? Oh, you got punched in the face. What happened there, honey?
Yeah, did he walk over from the Magic Mike XXL stage? Can I help you?
The Steve Zane Show, mornings
6 to 10 Eastern
on Yahoo Sports Radio. It's Travis Rogers Now.
This is one of the things I hate about just team sports in general. When you win a game, you go into a locker room or a clubhouse after a game, and everybody's laughing, the music's going, yeah, everybody's having a good time, and woo, telling jokes and all this stuff, and everybody's doing their thing. And your team could be 25-50. If you win that 26th game, everybody's throwing a party. Yet if you're 50-25 and you lose that 26th game, everybody's got to be very serious, and you got to whisper. And it's, they just didn't really play very well tonight. We can't have the music on, and it's just it's a tough day. It's a tough day for the Cardinals. Where it's we do things the right way. We're not going to take this loss. Lightly. It's something that's going to weigh on us until the next time. It's that whole dynamic of that thing.
Travis Rogers Now. Weekdays from noon to 2 p.m. Eastern on Yahoo Sports Radio. Inside the Lines with former Carolina Panthers GM Marty Hernan.
Talking with Daryl Moose Johnston. Cam Newton was signed to an extension. We feel he's a franchise quarterback here in Carolina. What's your opinion?
Is he Tom Brady? No, not many people are Tom Brady. I think there's a lot of pieces in place. I'm excited to see what they do. Carolina believes that they have the quarterback that can take them to the place that they want to go to. And I think a lot of that happened down the stretch last year with the way he played.
Inside the Lines with Marty Hernan. Weekdays 10 a.m. till noon Eastern on Yahoo Sports Radio.
Listen to this. That's the sound of you losing weight with NutriBullet, the superfood nutrition extractor. NutriBullet turns ordinary fresh food into superfood. In about 30 seconds, NutriBullet breaks down fruits and vegetables, creating a deliciously healthy drink your body can absorb for a satisfying blast of nutrition that can help you drop pounds fast.
I lost about 10 pounds and feel amazing.
I've lost 17 pounds. I've lost almost 10 inches.
I've lost about 40 pounds.
I love it. I've never felt this good in my life. Never.
The NutriBullet 30-day Slim Down Plan is easy and risk-free. If you don't lose the weight within 30 days, return it for a full refund. Order today and get a month's supply of our fat-burning boost, a $20 value, absolutely free. Call 800-221-5550 now and get the 30-day Slim Down Plan risk-free. Call 800-221-5550. 800-221-5550. Results will vary based upon the commitment to the NutriBullet Slim Down Plan, diet, and exercise.
This is Behind Closed Doors with Leigh Steinberg on Yahoo Sports Radio and YahooSportsRadio.com. Once again, from Southern California, here's Leigh Steinberg.
We have another Agent Academy coming up where we teach all the basic skills. It'll be myself and my able-bodied partner, Chris Cabot, teaching in Philadelphia, August 1st. Check it out on our website. Our first guest tonight is Thomas Williams. Thomas played football at USC. He was so hellacious on special teams, they called him the Hitman. He played a variety of different positions, spent 4 or 5 years in the NFL. He's now a motivational speaker. He's a professor teaching a player development course at USC. And he's an author. I have the book right here. It's called Permission to Dream, and it's very inspirational. Thomas, are you with us?
Yeah, Lee, how you doing?
Doing great. So you were a member of USC's football team during the peak of Pete Carroll's tenure with the team. What was he like as a coach? Were you surprised he'd do so well with Seattle?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, just when you say that, it just brings so much chills and joy to my whole entire body, because you're absolutely right. I mean, the runs that those teams went on, and the altitude of victories and success is amazing. And so to answer your question, I'm not surprised, and I don't think anybody who was ever around Pete Carroll, USC, or that coaching staff would be surprised about the amount of success that they've had thus far as well, just because they know what type of coach he is, what type of players that he recruits / gets in free agency or drafts. I mean, and those guys want to play, and it's so obvious. Anytime you turn on the film or you turn on the TV and you watch the Seattle Seahawks play, you're going to get a show. And so it just shows that those guys are having fun still at the ultimate level where it's considered a business. So I'm not surprised at all.
It seems like they're the loosest squad, the Seahawks, around, with players in team meetings who are shooting baskets into little play baskets and the rest of it. Was that the way it was at USC?
Absolutely. I think it kind of goes back to that old saying, it's not broke, don't fix it. So he took the same thing and took it from USC and now took it up there to Seattle, where shooting baskets in between meetings. I mean, everything is about competition. You know, with his book, Win Forever, always compete. I mean, that is his mantra, trying to figure out a different way every single day to get better and better and better. And literally in every aspect of life, whether it's practice on the field, taking notes in the classroom, being the great man that you can possibly be, and maximizing who we are as people.
What type of mentality do you have to play special teams? You know you're going to get whacked somehow. Does it take a certain type of person, extra motivation?
That's a great question. I think what it takes, to be honest with you have to be slightly a little bit crazy, a little insane in the head, if you will, just because, just like you said, I mean, there's a person who's going to stand in front of you. They're going to be 40 yards in front of you. You're 40 yards back. You're going to run as fast as you can, and you're going to try and hit that person to either block them or to get through them so that you can make the tackle on the ball. So you have to be a little bit differently wired, just because every time you line up on the football field, it's going to be a full-on collision. And so now I'm happy that I'm on this side of the field as opposed to being in between the lines, because even watching special teams plays nowadays, I cringe a little bit.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you project for the Trojans on the field this year? What are the expectations now the sanctions are finally over?
Yeah, I think the expectations are still the same, obviously, to win. And it's a new feeling, a new vibe around campus, obviously, with my player development program that I teach every week.
We're going to ask you about that.
You can see that there's a little bit, there's more light inside of the building. Players are walking around with their chest out and their heads held up high because they're excited to get after it. And I think that this is going to be the years to get back to the winning tradition of USC.
Will they be as prolific offensively this year as they were at times last year?
I think so, and I think you're going to see a lot more production spread out throughout the offense, whether it's the wide receiver group or the tight end group, the running back. I mean, there's a couple of positions that players are going to have to step up, but I think it's going to be the cohesion of the offensive side of the ball that's going to actually make this team move forward and progress.
They seemed almost as if last year they had these marvelous games and then occasionally just sort of lose focus and concentration.
Yeah, I don't know if it was that so much. What in my close experience with the football team last year, it really was a thing of guys getting tired at the end of the game. I mean, when you talk about the numbers as far as the roster and scholarships, I mean, to play 65, 70, 80 snaps a game as hard as you possibly can, I mean, that's extremely difficult. The years that I was here, if you recall, you had really good players, second, third team, so that if the first-string guys needed a break or a breather, they could come off the field and there would be no drop-off as far as the team's performance when the next group of guys stepped on the field. So getting those numbers back and getting the players healthy, talked to a lot of guys who were nicked up a little bit, and so they're back to full speed and down there in the strength and conditioning room with Ivan. Everybody's getting healthy, and Russ is taking care of the guys as well.
You mentioned it briefly, but can we talk about your player development class you teach at SC?
Absolutely. I was hoping that you would get around to asking me. It's a player development program specifically designed, my own curriculum, where I've designed for student athletes, helping them understand the biggest aspect before they transition outside of sports, which is life skills and specifically transferable skills and the skills that make us phenomenal athletes on the field, on the court, whatever sport that you play. It's going to make us successful businessmen and women long after the scoreboard shuts off. And so my player development program is specifically tailored to all student athletes, helping them start to think about consciously their life after their career. Because you've been around the game long enough, you know that there's less than 1% goes from college to the NFL or whatever sport that you're playing. But here's the number that's we're kind of forgetting, is that 100% of athletes will retire. And so where are we as the teachers, the mentors, the coaches to help the person and not just the player evolve? So that's my program. I'm teaching at USC and a couple other Pac-12 schools this summer. And then I will be roaming throughout the country fall and into the spring at various universities who want to bring me in as a keynote and teach my curriculum there at this school.
What are some of the specific skills that you're trying to get across?
Well, so inside of my curriculum, there's different themes, whether it's sports identity, transferable skills, social media etiquette, networking, interview skills, internships, goal settings. Like those are some of the, because I have 36 different classes inside of my program, and so those are just some of them. But with the skills aspect, I mean, you think about some of the best athletes that you've ever seen, and most of their success came from their God-given talent and ability. And then there's another aspect of it where it was their inside, whether it was their heart, their mind, and their soul, whether it's competition, determination, perseverance, time management, leadership, communication. Like these are the skills that all of these companies around the country are begging for their employees to somehow overnight turn the switch on and get it. And for us as athletes, we have this innately ingrained in us since we were kids. And sometimes we don't understand how powerful we actually are because we've just kind of been around it for so long. And so the key for me is to help them be able to recognize them as the students being able to embody and embrace their skills. That gives them the same amount of confidence inside of sports. When they transition, they'll have the exact same confidence. I mean, it's not about just making plays; it's about making a difference. And so that's what we're inside of my company are really focused, and it's super excited about doing.
When a player is in the pros, what are some of the key steps you feel they should take to make a successful transition? What should they be thinking about? How should they be using their off seasons?
Yeah, that's a great question, AB. In my experience, and then also talking to the players that are still playing in the NFL, the ones who have transitioned out of the NFL, and one of the key parts is maximizing that off season. And the maximizing that, I mean by internships, shadow programs, networking. You know, we sometimes stay inside of our bubble, and we just want to rest, relax, recoup during those 2 or 3 months. But it's almost like your real life or your regular job and your future occupation depends on what you do in the here and the now. And so we know that the average is 3.5 years inside the NFL, and if we know that, hopefully you play longer. But let's say if every offseason you did at least 40 hours of an internship, and you can build your resume, then you build that experience, and then you start to kind of wiggle inside of things that you might want to be doing after your career or things that you might not want to do. And so the only way to find that out is by actually doing it. And so you think about it, there's 24 hours in a day, right? You can only work out 2 hours a day. And so you have 22 hours to do something that's going to benefit not only you, but your family, because the transition isn't just for the person playing the game. The transition is for every single person who has surrounded themselves around that athlete. You think about moms and dads, and they go to the games, and they go to the practices, and they go to these award banquets and ceremonies, and now they gain a little bit of celebrity status, if you will, because they're the mom of this player, they're the dad of this player, they're the brother of this player. So as you still are currently playing, literally showing the people who are in your inner circle that you're much more than just an athlete. And so having different things to discuss and different topics or different experiences to bring back to the dinner tables, bring back to the family vacations, and then it will make the transition smoother. I mean, by no means is it an easy transition, but it's to cut out and minimize the time and the stress and depression aspect of when you stop playing.
We're talking to Thomas Williams, former USC and NFL linebacker, author of the book Permission to Dream, who teaches a player development course at USC. You wrote a book about your life called Permission to Dream. Can you tell us what the book's about and what your intention was with it?
Yeah, so the book's titled Permission to Dream, which you can get on Amazon.com or you can purchase through my website, which is thomasrwilliams.com. And I felt like when I transitioned and stopped playing football, and people were asking me constantly at different speaking engagements, how did you do it? How did you do it? What is so special about you that you were part of the 1%? And so after hearing those questions a whole bunch of times, I said, why don't I create something that I can leave with someone in a group or a company or students or athletes that shares with them my story on how I'm no different than anyone else. I struggled. I had a goal. I had trials and tribulations. I didn't get the best grades. I struggled in some other areas of life, and there was obstacles and battles. And over time, I just became basically a callous to the situations or the circumstances that presented themselves. And so why I created this book and wrote it is because we all have a dream inside of us. Every single person that's on this earth has something that they have not done yet or that they would like to develop the courage and the strength to do it. So Permission to Dream is exactly the title of the book. It's every reader, I want them to have permission for them to experience their NFL, so to speak, their college dream of being an athlete. And this book isn't just for people who want to play football or sports. This book is for everybody who has something inside of them so deep that they're just waiting for a little nudge for somebody to come by and say, you can do it. And so for me, I'm the type of teacher, I don't teach anything that I read. I don't teach anything that someone else told me. I teach from a place of my own personal experiences. So when we see people doing something, it gives us the liberation to feel that we can do it ourselves.
Thank you so much, Thomas, for being our guest, and best of luck with your course and your book and your speeches.
Great. Thanks, Lee. Have a great one, and fight on this year. Let's go ahead and get some more championships.
Spoken like a Trojan, this is Leigh Steinberg. You're listening to Yahoo Sports Radio, and this is Behind Closed Doors.
Never miss a moment of Yahoo Sports Radio.
Just go to ysrpodcast.com.
The Yahoo Sports Radio Podcast Center. Always on for you. ysrpodcast.com.